Hey guys, it's Julia. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be the very last new makeup releases, favorites, and fails of the year. I still sound like a frog in today's video, so please bear with me. I feel like a sexy frog, right? No? Okay. I just first and foremost want to say a huge thank you to you guys for letting me scale back on this series. It's been such a huge relief on me to not feel like I have to do this every month, and I've just been able to really focus on new releases that really excite me and make me feel happy. So that being said, I have a ton of new things I tried out that I'm really excited to share with you guys and just review. So before we start with the reviews, I want to share with you guys some things on my wish list right now, and I created my wish list using ShopTagger. ShopTagger is an online browser extension that you can add to your search engine, and whenever you're shopping online, you just hit a button and it saves your items to your wish list. It'll notify you if prices drop or if anything comes back in stock, which is super convenient, so you don't have to keep checking up on all your items. It's all in one place. It's also super convenient because it gives you coupon codes when you're at checkout, so you can save money every time you shop. So 3 things currently on my wish list: the Nobly Dreamy 2 Mystic palette. Ugh, so pretty. I believe this is already released, and if I do pick it up, it'll probably be from Beauty Bay. But Nobla is now in Ulta, which is really exciting, so we love to see it. New Patrick Ta Beauty blushes. These look so beautiful, very creamy, and I've heard great things about the formula. So those are at Sephora, definitely on my wish list. And finally, they have new flavors of the Laneige Lip Sleeping Mask. I absolutely adore the vanilla one. The berry one's also great, so those are definitely on my wish list. Thank you so much to ShopTagger for sponsoring today's video. They are completely free and you can download them with my link below. Anyways, I think that's all I have to say. Make sure you check out the holiday merch. Full details of this look should be on Instagram. I'm going to talk about what I'm wearing on my eyes later in the video. And without further ado, let me go grab some hot tea for my throat and let's get into it. I'm ready. My throat's not, but I am. First thing I want to talk about is what I'm wearing on my eyes right now, and quite possibly the thing I've been just most excited about to test out is the new Lunar Beauty Moonspell palettes. First of all, I just want to say Lunar Beauty has been killing it with their palette packaging. You know, I really love the Strawberry Dream palette. This has been one of my favorite palettes of like summer slash transitioning into fall, and this was like formula wise one of the most pleasant surprises of the year. I think this is awesome, and it made me really want to try more from Lunar Beauty. So when they came out with the Moonspell palette and I saw the packaging, the just general aesthetic of the palette, I was like,
this is disgusting. I like it though.
So this is the palette sleeve, and it comes out and it's a little spell book, which I think is so cool, especially because I am a Gemini witch. This whole thing just really speaks to me. So you open the book, and here are the beautiful colors, very like grungy toned, very up my alley. So I've already done a look with the purples. I'm not sure if you've seen that on Instagram yet. I've been pre-filming all weekend, so I'm not really sure what's happening at all actually in my life. But today I have the greens on my eyes. So I have Bonnie, Marnie, Nancy, Fiona, and Mary on my eyes right now. Side note, I also just really love that these palettes have a huge mirror in them. For me, a mirror, or like the lack of a mirror, isn't a deal breaker, but it does really add something to the experience of the palette, and I just love having this in here. So that is that with the palette. So far, I've enjoyed working with it. I think the shimmers in here are that same beautiful formula from the Strawberry Dream, where they're just kind of dimensional and they have a little bit of like a duochrome shift to them. They show up as really beautiful and metallic on the eyes, but they just have a little something in there that makes them a little bit more eye-popping. I particularly love the shade here called Prue. Pinkish, purple, bluish duochrome, and it's such a unique shade. I think it's really beautiful. There are actually a few neutral shades in here, so I think this is actually going to be a pretty versatile palette for me to take up, for me to use on a daily basis. I'll actually probably be using these brown shades more often. In terms of the colorful mattes though, I did feel like these were not quite as amazing quality as the ones in the Strawberry Dream palette. So obviously there is kind of a difference in terms of saturation of these two. This one's more like punchy, very, very bright mattes, whereas these are still colorful but a little bit more on the grungy side. But I feel like these ones are just a little bit more pigmented. They show up really beautifully on the eyes, and they're so easy to blend. And these shades, they're still pigmented, but they do require a little bit more work, and I felt like they could be a little bit harder to blend, but that's probably just because they are typically shades that are harder to formulate. So like olive greens, purples, not easy colors to nail. So in terms of just like general aesthetic, I think it's such a good, cohesive, very fun fall palette, and I really love having this in my collection. But if you are trying to like decide between which palette to get from Lunar Beauty, I honestly think that the Strawberry Dream is a lot better. This for me was like an 11 out of 10. It just blew me away. Whereas this, I would say it's like a 7.5, maybe 8 out of 10. It's like not perfect, but I still love it. So that is my review of the Moonspell palette. I just think in general, I'm so excited about this brand, and I really cannot wait to see what they come out with in 2020, because these two kill. So as you guys know, somehow ColourPop noticed me and added me to their PR list, which has been lovely. Slightly overwhelming because how much they release. So there have been 2 like major collection PR kits that I've received. First one was the butterfly collection, and I actually did give away a few of the pieces in there, so I'm not going to be sharing a full review of that collection. But I do still have this Fly by Pixie Puff highlighter for your body, and this is honestly my favorite thing in the collection. I love I love a good body glitter. But I've also had a lot of questions about the new Bare Necessities collections. First of all, there's this beautiful brush roll. It's all these beautiful white and rose gold brushes in an actually really high quality brush roll. Normally I feel like when brush sets come in a roll like this, it's like really like cheap, chintzy quality. This is actually really nice. It has like a nice kind of faux suede lining too. The Bare Necessities palette itself, I saw it on Trend Mode and I wasn't like super interested just because I already have like way too many neutral palettes. And then I saw the packaging in person. It's one of the like most beautiful high quality packagings I've ever seen from ColourPop. It's such a user friendly and like very workplace appropriate palette. I do already have like multiples of these colors 20 times over, so I wanted to actually give away this palette. It is brand new. I haven't used it. And with ColourPop's palettes in general, they're all really consistent in quality. I feel like that's one of ColourPop's biggest strengths, is that whenever they come out with an eyeshadow palette, I can count on it being just generally that same quality between different palettes that they release. So I will have a link to enter the giveaway for this one down below, because I would love to pass this one along to you guys. But what I wanted to share my thoughts on in this video was the brush roll itself, because these brushes, I'm blown away. I don't really talk about brushes all that often on my channel, and I haven't done a brushes favorites video ever, just because I don't like making videos that I wouldn't watch myself, and nothing bores me more than a brushes favorites video. But also, I like swap out brushes I'm using very quickly, so I feel like if I made a brushes favorites video, it would really only be applicable for about like 2 months before I found new brushes that I like. So, but I want to share these ones because I think this is one of the best affordable brush options that you can get. I've tried some of ColourPop's brushes in the past, and they were like okay to me, but I don't know if they've like completely changed the brushes in the like year since I've tried them, or if these are just particularly amazing. But these are the softest brushes I've ever felt in my life. For me, I feel like Morphe brushes are kind of on the scratchier side. These are completely like animal free obviously, but they're so soft. These pick up color and blend in such a beautiful way. So obviously some of these are dirty. I've already gone through all of these and washed them once, so these have survived one brush wash. Honestly, they still feel just as soft and beautiful as when I first got them. So I really cannot recommend these enough. It's one of the few brush sets where I feel like every single brush in here is like a shape that has a practical use. A lot of the times I'll get a brush set and like I would say like maybe 8 out of the 10 brushes are like good functional shapes, and then there's 2 brushes in there where it's like a shape that I genuinely like don't know what to use it for. But these ones, there's really like no wasted brush in here. I just think this is a really solid set. Honestly, this brush set is one of the best things I've tried from ColourPop this year, and was kind of a sneak attack favorite for me. I'm rarely ever like super impressed by new brushes, but when I took these out and I felt them and saw how they applied things, I was like, huh, shit bitch. Ladies and gentlemen, my new boyfriend, Glossier Future Dew. If you follow me on Instagram, I'm sure you've seen my face just beaming in the past couple weeks because I've been testing out the Glossier Future Dew and just have not gotten enough of it. This is such an interesting product to me. It's an oil serum hybrid. It's meant to be the last step in your skincare routine to just give you a really overly aggressive dewy finish to your skin, which I'm so on board for. So on days that I've been like feeling a little bit more confident with my skin, I've been wearing this on its own, like no foundation. Or in my last Get Ready With Me, I actually used this one underneath my makeup, and I felt like my skin turned out very dewy that day, and it was really pretty. So this formulation itself is just really interesting to me, because even though it is an oil serum hybrid, I feel like it doesn't break up my foundation if I do wear something over it, and it just plays really well with what I put on top of it. If you don't like the look of like a liquid highlighter all over your face, which I personally think really emphasizes texture, this will give you that same like glowy beaming effect without emphasizing every single pore and like raised bump on your face. Plus the bottle is just pure beauty, and I've just been using this every single morning. Every morning without fail. It doesn't do anything to negatively impact the wear of your makeup either, so I don't feel like my makeup lasts any less long with this on. And it's just like, if you are into the dew, you will love this very much. Okay, so I didn't really think that I was gonna get excited about any of the holiday releases this year. Then Melt Cosmetics just had to do that to me. So picked up the Vita palette from the Melt Amor Eterno collection, and oh my gosh, what a beautiful, cohesive, just well thought out, well conceptualized collection. I did not pick up the Muerte palette just because I felt like, again, I just really have not been loving like darker eyeshadows on me. I feel like it really does weigh down my eyes and make me look a little just like tired and kind of panda-like. So I picked up the Vita palette instead, just because I felt like the colors in here were just more generally up my alley for what I'm looking for right now. I do have to say it does really remind me of the Kaleidos Futures and 4 neon palette from this summer. Maybe not my smartest purchase to get them both. I did really want to try this out, so I did post a look with this on my Instagram. First of all, aesthetics wise, I just want to say like the little details, this gold filigree all the way around this mirror, the kind of like raised detailing of the packaging, even like the back side of the palette is just beautiful. You can tell how much like love and care went into this collection, and I think that's something I've been really lacking from a lot of makeup releases this year. It just feels like a lot of releases have been going out as like, hey, here's a new product, we want to make some money, rather than like, hey, here's a new product that we worked so hard on, that we really put a lot of creativity and time into. And that's like the kind of thing that just makes a makeup piece special to me and makes it exciting for me to use. It's also the first palette that I've ordered directly from Melt that hasn't come shattered, so that's awesome. My Melt Smoke Sessions I ordered from Sephora and that came completely intact, but this one is the first palette I've ordered from the Melt website where it didn't come destroyed. So far, all the mattes I've tried from Melt have been like on the grungier side of things, so they're not like bright punchy mattes like the ones in the Strawberry Dream. They've been kind of more on the side of the Moonspell palettes, so like still colorful shades but not meant to be as like bright pigmented punchy shades. These are bright pigmented punchy shades, and I was kind of nervous to see if Melt would nail that down. They're beautiful. Amor Eterno right here, this is one of the most beautiful yellows I've ever tried. It was effortless. I feel like yellows are generally kind of like on the chalkier side, harder to build up. This one just performed like any other bright colorful shade I've ever seen. At first I was kind of like apprehensive about having two matte oranges in the palette. I felt like they would just not really have a ton of distinction on the eyes, but they do look noticeably different on the eyes, and I feel like it's just really nice to have both of them in order to create that nice gradient. Mexicana is a beautiful red matte. Thank God I'm not allergic to it. What else? Papel Picado right here. This was kind of my least favorite shade in the palette, but it's still beautiful. It's just not as like bright as it shows up in the pan. It's a little bit more muted than that. Sarape is just as beautiful as it looks in the pan. Honestly, my favorite shade in the palette is Agua Ardiente. This looks like a brown in the palette, but it has a tiny hint of green in there. Swatches and applies on the eyes as a nice olive green, but it has a brown undertone, so it can work with the green shades in here or with the brown. It just kind of takes up the color of whatever else you pair with it. I really like this palette. Just such a good solid release from Melt, and I love that they did kind of the same thing as they did with Gemini, where they focus more on mattes than shimmers. And then while I was at it on the Melt website, I picked up the Cultura Ultra Matte Gel Liner because I was going through the checkout line and I was like, oh my god, let's just add some random things to my cart. Yeah.
No.
I got sucked into this color. It's just everything I've ever wanted in a single eyeshadow, but it's a gel eyeliner, so I don't know what I was thinking. Like a mustardy yellow, orange, kind of brownish pumpkin spice shade of beautifulness, and it's, oh, perfect. This is like a perfect shade. I actually really like it as just like a monochromatic liner. Just this and then lashes. Beautiful. I do feel like it dries down very matte, and because it's a lighter shade, when it starts to kind of like crack and dry down throughout the day, it's a little bit more apparent and you can see it, whereas if it was a black you wouldn't really be able to tell. So that is kind of tricky. I don't think it was worth the money that I spent on it, but now that I have it I will try and use it up. I love the color of this. I really need somebody to make a single in this shade, or like honestly an entire palette centered around this type of color. I would die. I just want to hop on camera really quickly and review something that I'm super excited about. This is the new Alma palette from my friend Amy Loves Makeup and the brand Amy Hearts Beauty. This is such a beautiful palette. I shared it on my Instagram stories. I was just so excited when I got this one. I really love seeing smaller influencers getting what they deserve, which is collabs and recognition, and I think that Amy just did an amazing job with this, and this is like the palette to support if you really want to see more people getting those opportunities. Also, if you really like purples, this is the palette to support. Oh, it's so beautiful. I love the color scheme in here. It's a really good balance of matte shades and beautiful metallic shimmers. There's a lot of duochromes as well, so if you're into that, you will love this one. So I did a look with this on my Instagram, like literally the day after I got it because I was so excited about it, and I was mostly excited about these like 3 matte shades here. The lavender called Dreamweaver, this kind of like cornflower blue called Spirit, and then this shade down here called Blessed, which is so pretty. Honestly, my favorite shades in here are actually the shimmer shades, especially the duochromes in here. I really love all these like blue purple shades. They have a little bit of like a multi-dimensional quality to the shimmer, so when you put them on the eyes, you do get that base color of like what the color shows up in as the pan, but you also kind of get this like iridescent effect to the shimmers that just makes it so like wet looking and beautiful, and ugh, stunning. I'll insert swatches as well so you can see. I also really like these 3 like whitish duochrome shifts. Really beautiful on the inner corners. Honestly, the only thing that like didn't really work out that well for me was the lavender shade down here. If you're using it as like a crease shade, I do feel like it's a little bit harder to build up than the other shades, but thankfully these 2 blues down here really did pick up the slack. So I did have a hard time with this one in the crease. I do just think lavenders as a habit are a little bit harder to formulate, but overall, like, I'm really happy with this formula. I think this is a beautiful color scheme. Amy put her heart and soul into this, and I think she did an amazing job. So I love this palette very much. This was a really big hit for me this season, and just wanted to share it because I'm so proud of her. The new highlighters from Kaleidos. I've already talked about these a couple times on my channel before, but I just wanted to share a full and final review on these because I love them. The one that I thought was going to be like least attainable for me, Laser Glazer, it's the Shrek green one. I have actually been loving this. So besides the Lunar Beauty Moonspell palette that I'm wearing most of it on my eyes right now, stuff on my inner corner and then a little bit of the inner part of my lid is this, just patted on top of it. It is such a fun duochrome shift. I feel like this just really adds a touch of uniqueness to the eye look, and it's really fun to work with. I've just been loving Ray Rider as well. It's like the most basic shade, but really beautiful. A really good smooth formula as well, which is one of my main concerns with colorful highlighters like these, is that I want them to be a good enough formula where they can melt into the cheekbone. So colorful highlighters aren't ever really gonna look natural on you. I still don't want them to look like crazy chunky and weird on me, if that makes sense. It doesn't look like natural because obviously like nobody has naturally pink shades coming out of their cheekbone, but it still melts into the skin. So I've been absolutely loving these, and if you guys get me to 25k, the other 2 shades will be in the giveaway. I'm very much a skincare enthusiast, so much to a point where I might want to explore dermatology as a specialty. But I've really been getting into watching and like engaging myself in skincare YouTube, which is such a fun world, not opinionated world. I'm kidding, they are so opinionated. Makeup YouTube is so different from skincare YouTube. Skincare YouTube is very much like kind of medical oriented, honestly, and very research oriented. And if you watch skincare YouTube, I'm sure you know about KraveBeauty. Krave is a Korean skincare brand founded by Leah Yu. She has her own skincare channel, but she founded this brand, and I love that she's so open and honest about like the formulation and the entire process of making these products, because that just really adds an extra layer of transparency to the brand that I really enjoy. So I've wanted to try some skincare from them for a while, so I tried out the Beach Shield and then their newest release, the Oh So Simple water cream. First of all, I want to talk about the Beach Shield. This is a sunscreen, and if you want something that truly does not feel like sunscreen, it pretty much just feels like you're putting on serum. It's so thin, so lightweight. For that reason, I love this under makeup, and there's no white cast. My only complaint is that there's really like not a ton of product in here, and for sunscreen, I like to use a bit more. So I'm going through this very quickly. I'm like halfway done, and I've had it for about a month. And then the Oh So Simple water cream. This is very interesting to me because there are only 10 ingredients in here, and I've been pretty open about how my depression's gotten really bad lately. I've been seeing like a lot of hormonal flare-ups, a lot of inflammation, and I knew that it was internal, but I felt like everything was irritating my skin. So I had to take it kind of back to basics and just go for very bare bones skincare products to just kind of get my skin back to where I needed it to be. And this was great for that. If you have very sensitive skin, this is going to be awesome for you because there's like literally nothing in here that can make your skin angry. It's such a thin texture as well. I feel like it really melts into the skin, so I love using this under makeup. If you have drier skin like me, it's a little bit too light to wear at nighttime. I can either pair this with a facial oil to give it a little bit more hydration, or I just use this one in the morning. But as like a good basic staple product, I think this is awesome. And that's the tea. Alright guys, that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's new makeup releases, favorites, and fails. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed down below, and also follow me on Instagram to see makeup looks like this posted before the apocalypse happens. And if you make it to the very end of this video, you get the bonus meme. Make sure you enter the giveaway. I love you. Goodbye.